95% of people fail because of this one mistake. Let me show you what that is and how to fix it. Motivation is not the new mental drug. It is the age-old drug, one of the most dangerous ever sold. A drug that society, reels, and those viral WhatsApp forwards told you would change your life. And because you felt something when you saw that quote, push yourself, no one's coming, or you just need one big reason. You believed it. You got goosebumps. You felt the rush. You thought, yes, this is it. But 2 days later, nothing. No follow through, no consistency, no change. And you know what the worst part is? You don't just feel disappointed. You feel ashamed. You ask yourself, why can't I stick to anything? What's wrong with me? What if I told you that the very thing you rely on to succeed is designed to make you fail? This is the problem. It is not that you are broken. It is that motivation is not designed to last, and relying on it long term is like trying to go on a road trip using only the first gear of your car. You will overheat, you will burn out, you will break down. And still, people worship motivation like it is the main fuel of success. But you know what the problem is? This belief that motivation works and motivation is all that you need is not just wrong. It is outdated. It is like saying the bullock cart is still the fastest way to travel, or trusting a surgeon who doesn't sanitize his hands. Yes, motivation has a role, but not the one you think. It is the start, not the journey. And you know what the most dangerous part is? When motivation fades, as it always does, your subconscious begins rewiring your identity. You think you are lazy. You believe you are inconsistent. You tell yourself, maybe I'm not meant for greatness. And that voice becomes your reality. That's not just failure, that's identity damage. But what if I told you there is a technique, a mental reset designed to rewire the very code your mind is operating on? Something we call a deep code reset. And today, I want to give you free access to one of these powerful mind conditioning techniques. It is called the follow through trigger, a less than 10-minute audio reset that reprograms your action taking instinct. If you have ever struggled with consistency, this one exercise could shift everything. Don't miss it. It is something I wish I had access to when I was stuck, because it flips a switch most people don't even know exists. I will tell you how to access it at the end of this session. Let's go a little deeper for a moment. Not theory, real understanding. Because when you see what's happening inside your brain, things start to click. Suddenly, it's not about willpower anymore. It is about patterns, wiring, systems. And once you see that, you stop blaming yourself and start building momentum that actually lasts. Research shows that the people who succeed over the long run don't just rely on bursts of inspiration. They develop systems. Behavioral experts, including those referenced by the NIH Wellness Initiative, observe that Waiting to feel motivated often leads to inaction because motivation is emotion driven, and emotions, as we know, fluctuate. They are fleeting by nature. There's also something called the over-justification effect, where external rewards actually weaken internal motivation. The more you hype yourself, the less your brain trusts you. So, no, it is not you. It is the system that lied to you. And to replace that lie, you need a system that actually works. Now, if you are wondering why the system lied to me or how did the system lie to me, let me tell you, go back when you were a child. What does the culture, the society, your teachers, parents tell you? You need to be motivated. You're not motivated enough. You need to have some motivation. You know, he could have done much in life if he had that motivation. So somewhere deep inside we start believing that it is motivation. And motivation is what everybody needs. And if I don't have it, I will fail. And to replace that lie, you need a system that actually works. That brings me to what changed my life. The method I now live by. I call it the water method. WATER. Because motivation is fire, but real transformation happens through flow. W stands for why power. Ask yourself, why do I want this goal? Why must I change? Why should I not quit? Most people stop at material answers. I want this business, or I want this because I want a better house. I must change because I want a car, or I want to prove a point. But if you keep asking, you will discover the real fuel. Maybe underneath it all, you want dignity, you want peace, you want to feel proud, you want self-respect, you want freedom from this loop. I once coached a managing director who said his why was a Land Rover Defender. He said, "This is why I'm working hard." I asked him, "What will that car give you that your father never had?" He froze. Then he said softly, "Respect." That's why power. That is your why. It must come from a place of truth, not trends. Now let's look at A. A is acquire skills. I hold a Guinness World Record in supermemory. I've been recognized as Time's iconic legend for cognitive development. I have taught students in 248 cities across 4 continents. I have addressed over 50,000 people a year from stage. I didn't become this by watching reels or binging motivational content. I mastered learning, memory, public speaking, sales psychology, peak performance, and mind mastery. That's exactly what we now teach inside Foundation X, a complete system for learning what school never taught but life demands. T. T is take aligned action. Action is identity. You don't need to do everything. You need to do one thing every day that is aligned with the version of you that you are becoming, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. E is embrace strategic breaks. I don't push 24/7. I recover strategically. I rest like an athlete. Then I return sharper. You don't need to hustle forever. You need to last longer. R. R is reject motivation dependence. You won't always feel like it. You won't always be inspired. But if you can build the ability to act without the emotional push, you become unstoppable, my friend. That's exactly why I created a short but powerful mind conditioning technique called the follow-through trigger. Why do I call it that? Because it is designed to activate the part of you that finishes what you start. It helps you break the hesitation, override emotional resistance, and take aligned action even when you don't feel like it. It's for the version of you that's tired of stopping halfway. And when triggered regularly, this reset becomes a pattern, one that makes follow through feel automatic. This deep code reset session to build consistency is not public. It's normally part of the inner work we do inside Foundation X. But for now, I am giving you free access. If you want to build consistency and rewire your internal momentum, start with this. If you are ready to stop waiting for motivation and start building real momentum, two things. Grab your free follow-through trigger below. Join Foundation X to go deeper. This is how lasting change is built. Comment water below if you are done with motivation cycles. Remember, water. Why? Acquire, take, embrace, reject. Do this daily and motivation becomes irrelevant. Subscribe to the channel now, and I will see you in the next one. Take charge.